Where's the bus at then?
It's been 30 minutes since the bus should have arrived at this stop. For people like Henry, this is just a normal day for him. But it shouldn't have to be. And he's not the only one. Across Sussex, young people are waiting for buses that just don't seem to show up. Hey, I'm Tristan, and this is Busted. I'm here to look into what's really going on with the bus services here in East Sussex. For a lot of us, buses are the only way to get around, but between bus delays, the rising cost, and more, lots of people are starting to think that the service could do better, which probably includes you. East Sussex has two main bus operators, Brighton and Hove and Stagecoach, which are the two companies that the majority of people use. The Brighton and Hove bus service has been running since 1884 and has 40 different routes that cover the city, but also parts of West and East Sussex, and even a route into Kent. In July 2024, they launched a new limited stop service, the 1X, which runs between Mile Oak and Brighton Marina. It has a faster trip compared to the previous 1A route that was replaced, and only takes 45 minutes to travel end to end. The company has also been expanding, especially in August 2024, when he announced that they had purchased Lewes-based Regency coaches. On the other hand, Stagecoach has a wider network. They've been running since 1980 and operate 439 buses, travelling about 18 million miles on the roads of Kent and East Sussex yearly. And that's the same distance as going to the moon and back 38 times. They also employ over 1,300 people, which helps towards their main goal of getting everyone to their destination safely every day. Despite all those buses on the road, not everyone feels like these services can be reliable. To have a better understanding and find out what it's really like, I spoke with 3 young people who use these bus services almost every day. So, could you all tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name's Matthew Robertson. I'm 17 and I live in Heathfield.
My name is Gabriel Caro Meneses. I am 18 years old. I'm currently a student and I live in Brighton.
My name is Faye. I'm 18 and I live in East Sussex. I go to college every day and I take the bus to get to college.
We have Matthew and Gabrielle with us in the studio, but we'll be talking to Faye over the phone.
I use Stagecoach buses and I take the 51 from Heathfield to Eastbourne. Mostly to get to college and sometimes just go to Eastbourne for shopping.
Like I said, I'm a student in Eastbourne, so I get the Brighton and Hope bus from Brighton to get to the town centre in Eastbourne, and then from there I take a Stagecoach bus to get to college and then again to get back home.
I take the 29A bus every day to get to college, and that's with Brighton and Hove, and it's about an hour journey. And sometimes I use the Stagecoach 51.
Just for listeners at home, could you tell us how often you use these services?
Twice a day from Tuesdays to Fridays and maybe on the weekend.
Very often, I'd say 5 to 6 days in a week, because I not only study, I also work on the weekends sometimes.
I'm in college 5 days a week. It's an hour journey there and an hour back, so about 10 hours a week.
So, Faye, since you said you use both Brighton and Hove and Stagecoach, how would you describe their reliability, and could you start with Brighton and Hove for us?
Yes, I'd say it is quite reliable. It's barely ever cancelled. Not often very late, sometimes a bit late. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty reliable.
And how do you think this compares to Stagecoach?
I think it is so much better than Stagecoach. To me, Stagecoach is just so incredibly unreliable. The buses are always late. Sometimes they don't even show up. But yeah, they're just not very reliable and consistent with their timing.
For the public transport that you use from to and from college, do you think that it's clean?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty clean.
Have you ever had a situation where it might have been dirty?
Not proper dirty. I mean, sometimes you find people who leave their rubbish on the floor, and sometimes there's spilled drinks on the floor, but that's only on occasion.
And Matthew, do you have any opinions on this?
Apart from cans and just stuff on the floor, I wouldn't say it's nasty, kind of dirty, but it's fine.
And have you ever had any issues with like the bus driver? Have they ever been like not very nice, or are they
Some of
usually?
them are usually like a bit standoffish, but it's not really a big issue for me.
And Gabrielle, do you have any views on this?
Yeah, some of them are really friendly, but however, there are others who are quite rude to you, like who look really upset about be there driving, which is kind of annoying. There are drivers who would just drive past you for no reason or who would close the door in front of you, which is not really nice from them. Luckily, I'd say that 70% of the drivers are nice.
And can you describe a recent journey that kind of sums up what public transport is like for you?
I think it was a week ago. I was going to college and the bus from the Brighton and Hove bus got cancelled all of a sudden. So I ended up getting to the town centre 30 minutes late, and then I was waiting for a stagecoach bus, but it got delayed and then it got cancelled. So I had to wait for another 30 minutes. And then I got to college like really, really, really late. And I don't know what was happening that day, but on my way back to the town center, because I was working that day, another bus just got cancelled, didn't show up. So I had to call my manager and tell her that I'd be 30. I think I ended up arriving like 30 or 40 minutes late to work, which is not ideal. And I think it just shows how unreliable the bus services could be at times.
And Matthew, would you say you've ever experienced anything similar to this?
Well, I think a week ago, I was going to go home from college, back to Heathfield. First of all, I checked on the app and it said the bus would be here in like 20 minutes. The bus didn't show up. So I had to wait for the next one. That was
Oh, that
delayed by
sounds
10
quite
minutes
annoying.
as well. Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about money, because for students and young people, bus fares can really add up. Gabrielle, could you tell us how much you would spend in a week?
Well, I buy the Child Network Saver that works across Brighton and Eastbourne. That's £8.20. So that would be around £24 per week, which is a lot of money. However, when I buy the ticket, sometimes when I get to Eastbourne, the drivers won't accept that ticket for some reason. So I end up having to spend another £1 or £2. Yeah, I think it's quite expensive.
Faye, I know you get a monthly ticket. How does this compare?
It cost me, I think it's £46.90 now. It's gone up a bit.
And from what you've told me, I found out that it would cost around £11.70 per week, compared to Gabrielle paying £24, which is a big difference. And would you say the price you're paying is fair?
Yeah, I guess so. It definitely saves me money if I get the monthly ticket instead of like buying a single every day. So that's nice. I'd say it's worth it.
And from what you were saying, it sounded like you said that they've changed, but did they used to be a lot cheaper or expensive?
Not a lot cheaper. Not a lot cheaper. I think it's only gone up by 90p.
In October 2024, the Prime Minister announced that the single bus fare cap in England will be raised to £3. Brighton and Hove reduced some of their prices back in January to make their travel more affordable. Adult £1.70 fares were reduced to £1, along with adult single fares between £2.10 and £2.90 being reduced to just £2 and more. However, around this time, return tickets for buses are removed, depending on where you live in the UK, such as Kent and East Sussex. This has led to lots of people having to spend more money on commuting to work or study. Moving on, apps. Both companies have them. They both allow users to buy tickets, look at the timetable, and track the bus. Reviews of Stagecoach mainly contain that it can be slow from time to time, randomly log out users, and has a delayed or not even working bus tracker. But are these reviews telling the truth? Matthew, do you ever use the app?
I use the app, most days, like as same times I get the bus, like just to check what times the bus are or like where the buses are,
Is this app reliable?
Some parts are. I'd say like the actual timetables, they're fine. I can deal with that. It tells you when the delays are. That's fine. But they have like this bus tracker bit. I don't know. It's not great, I'd say. It usually like, I don't know, lies. Like, I've had this one time where it say the bus is like on the road, and I can see the road, and it's not there, and the bus and the tracker says like the bus would pass, and it never showed up. So it's not great, I'd say.
Brighton and Hove reviews tend to show that the reliability of tracking is a lot better. So, Faye, what do you use the app for?
Mainly to buy my tickets. I get a monthly student ticket, which is quite good. And I also use it to track the bus so I can see like exactly where it is.
From what has been said, the bus service can definitely be improved. But in what ways? I asked the interviewees their thoughts on what potential improvements could be made to better the service. Gabrielle, what is one thing that should be improved about buses?
It would be nice if the buses were more clean. That would be like an extra thing to do.
How about you, Matthew?
Definitely lower the prices. I'd like cheap bus tickets.
And Faye, anything to add?
But I'd say specifically for Stagecoach, I know they changed it. They reduced the amount of buses going because they wanted to be more reliable, but I'm just not seeing any change in like how late they're being consistently, just incredibly late every time. It's really disappointing.
For people across East Sussex, well, anyone, buses are important, especially if there's no way to get to your destination. But with delays and cancellations, it's hard to rely on them when they might not even show up. Hopefully, by paying attention to the voices of people who use these services, things can improve. Busted was produced, edited, and presented by me, Tristan Gaston, including interviews with Matthew Robertson, Gabrielle Caro Meneses, and Faye Donovan. Special thanks to Harry Leask for voicing Henry. Sound effects include Rain Starter Sound Pack and Traffic on Wet Motorway Sound Pack by Zapsplat, Thunderstorm and Light Rain and Wind by PMSFX, and Newcastle UK City Ambience by Sonic Sound FX, all from Zapsplat.com. Music featured includes Mephisto by Spinning Tape, Backed Vibes by Kevin MacLeod, Puzzle Pieces by Albert Bahar, and Online Daycare from Maciej Sodotsky, all from Upbeat.io. Thank you for listening.